Reopening Ohio. The governor tells us when he'll announce the businesses that are part of Phase 1.
Next year.
I don't understand how your team is able to come up with numbers and the state can't.
Nursing home numbers. The state admits problems with tracking COVID-19 cases at long-term facilities after a 3 News investigation. We get answers for those with loved ones they can't visit. Following the money, several Ohio schools and universities got millions from a fund meant to support small business. How they qualified and where the money will be spent.
The NFL draft is here. Finally, the Browns are on the clock. Finally. Now, finally, do we get a left tackle?
Plus, meet the young cancer survivor who will be helping the Browns announce their draft pick tonight.
From the WKYC studios, this is What Matters Most.
It's a lot of different things. Hospitalization that is now going down. And I want to make it clear, and we'll have this announcement on Monday.
The clock is winding down to the May 1st reopening date for Ohio, set by Governor Mike DeWine. And today, he said, we'll get the details on exactly what that will look like come Monday. Today, we learned that there are now 14,694 coronavirus cases in Ohio, 656 deaths. We took a look at how that compares to just a week ago, and you can tell that those numbers have both nearly doubled over the last 7 days. And with that, we say good evening. I'm Jay Crawford, joining you from home tonight.
And I'm Betsy Kling here in the WKYC studios. Both Russ and Laura are off this evening. We're going to begin tonight with nursing homes. And as of today, there are more than 1,600 confirmed cases of COVID-19 at Ohio long-term care facilities. Hours after a 3 News investigation exposed inaccuracy on the state's website that tracks cases, that page was quickly removed, and then another list was released yesterday. But that data remains riddled with errors at a time when accurate information is so very key. 3 News investigator Rachel Polanski has been leading our coverage on this story.
Natalie Corriveau is part of a growing number of Ohioans suffering through the pandemic with a loved one in a nursing home.
We haven't seen her for, I guess it's been 4 weeks now.
She understands the need to isolate her grandmother, Patricia. She doesn't understand the lack of answers from health leaders.
I just want the truth of what is the real deal.
Natalie's grandmother was diagnosed with COVID-19 over the weekend, and Natalie's been relying on 3 News to keep her informed because of the inaccuracies on the DOH website.
You were able to find at least 5 cases at the one specific facility my grandmother was at, and the state website doesn't even have any facilities in the county.
Natalie's right. While the Toledo-Lucas County Health Department reported 24 facilities with active COVID-19 cases, none were listed on the state's website until this afternoon. I took these findings to the Ohio Department of Health. For family members, they want a comprehensive picture. Why isn't the state providing that?
The reason is because we didn't have an accurate way to collect that information from the local health department.
Spokeswoman Melanie Amato admits there have been reporting discrepancies. She says prior to April 15th, counties did not have a uniform way to collect and report COVID-19 cases. Now she says they do.
And so the bugs and the kinks for the local health departments to report this information need to be worked out, and we understand that.
I continued to press her on the public's desire for more information. What about recoveries and what about deaths? That's something else that a lot of people want to see.
Recovery is a great question, and I don't think is a question we actually thought of to start to provide for nursing homes. So that is a question I will take back to the officials higher up than me to figure out if that's something we can do. For deaths, the governor announced that we will now collect that information by county level. And we will start collecting that information, and that information will show on our database starting next Wednesday.
But for thousands of families like Natalie's, these delays only cause more worry about their loved ones.
That she'll pass and we won't be able to have any heads up, and we won't be able to do anything to be able to, give her a hug or just say I love you on the phone.
All right, now if you have a loved one in a nursing home, that website by the state is now up and running, and they did just update it today. That is available at WKYC.com. I do want to note, though, these are just current cases, not all cases, as we've been continually requesting. Rachel Polanski, 3 News.
Rachel, thank you so much for continuing on this. I know there's thousands of families who are literally every story they are getting that information, and it is so important. So we'll continue to keep an eye on things, I'm sure. All right.
Of course.
Thank you. Jay.
Well, Betsy, the CARES Act was passed by Congress weeks ago. It sent Americans those $1,200 stimulus checks. It also gave $388 million in endowment money to universities here in Ohio. Kent State got $19.3 million. The University of Akron, $14.1 million. And Cleveland State got $12.2 million. Those are just a few of the universities getting that federal money. Mark Namick tells us which institutions are hanging on to the cash and how they're spending it.
Ohio colleges and universities trying to figure out how to reopen campuses. Students wondering if they can afford to return.
Our students that are on the edge, and there's a lot of them out there, need to know that we care about them.
The $2 trillion coronavirus stimulus package approved last month by Congress provides about $14 billion in relief to higher learning institutions, distributed based on college enrollment and the number of students already getting federal grants. Much of the money intended to help students and their families who may have lost work pay the next tuition bill. Nearly all of Ohio's colleges and universities qualified for money, including the elite private ones such as Case Western Reserve University and Oberlin College. Ohio State University and Miami of Ohio, 2 of the state's top public universities, also in line for millions. All of them have big endowments, a point of growing controversy. Bowing to criticism from elected officials, including President Trump, some Ivy League schools have agreed to forego the money.
That's not us. That's not us. And I think that's the message that I've been delivering to our state and federal representatives. 77% of our students are in some kind of need status along that spectrum. Most of our students are there because they're working through college.
3 News contacted a half dozen colleges and universities today to see how they plan to tap the funds, half of which can be spent on things other than direct student aid. Case says it's awaiting more federal guidelines on how it can spend the money. Miami, among other schools, didn't respond. Ohio State, like Cleveland State, says it's prepared to start taking student grant applications. Cuyahoga Community College, which serves a large population of students in need of financial help, said it hopes to recover computer and remote learning costs it absorbed to get students connected off campus.
With all of our changes, too, we're hoping to get out of the gate here in a couple of days to get the funds directly to students, too.
Students will have to apply for the stimulus money like they have for other grants in the past, and universities are setting up special web pages to make that easier. Now for the big question, will students get to go back to campus? No one's saying yet, but the CSU president told me if they go back, it will be done in stages. Mark Namick, 3 News.
Well, the grocery store is the one place most of us continue to visit during the stay-at-home order. And now there's a push to classify employees as first responders. A recent survey shows 73% of those questioned are making fewer trips out to the store. Just under half questioned are shopping during off hours, and about the same amount are spending more when they go. So Tiffany Tarpley shows us the challenges that stores are facing, keeping their customers and their employees safe.
Heinen's in Strongsville is back open today after closing for a deep cleaning. A second employee tested positive for COVID-19 in less than a week.
It's not surprising given sort of how prevalent it is in the community. I hope they're doing okay, but I mean, it's to be expected with the virus.
I think it's going to be everywhere, whether you know it or not, and it's kind of inevitable, you know, it's going to happen.
Customers are taking precautions, and they've noticed Heinen's is too.
They sanitize a lot. When you walk in, they do a head count, which is really nice. You only go in and out one door.
I just try to be as efficient as possible, get in, get out, and then make sure that I'm washing my hands and then sort of spraying down the groceries when I get home.
According to its website, the store has installed plexiglass shields at registers like other retailers. And starting yesterday, Heinen's is requiring workers to wear masks or face shields. According to United Food and Commercial Workers Union, Local 880, employers are doing a good job trying to follow every guideline from the CDC and beyond. Treasurer and Secretary Barb Caruso says what they have a hard time controlling is customers following guidelines. So she's asking the public to be more aware for their safety and members' safety.
We're working with the state and the federal governments trying to get our members classified as first responders to receive all the same benefits that first responders receive, because in essence, that's exactly what they're doing.
Heinens is making its employee cases of COVID-19 public on its website for several days, and Giant Eagle is doing the same. Customers appreciate it.
I think it's definitely good that they put it out there and let people know.
Heinens says it pledges to be sensible, respectful, and honest to its customers. Tiffany Tarpley, 3 News.
Tiffany, thanks. For the first time in the U.S., 2 domestic cats have now been officially diagnosed with COVID-19, and the CDC is putting out guidelines for pet owners to follow. It seems we're the bigger risk to them if we get infected. Senior health correspondent Monica Robbins has more on what you need to know.
First, the lions and tigers, now 2 pet cats, all infected with COVID-19, likely transmitted by infected humans. The CDC said from the beginning to stay away from our pets if we have COVID, and it appears our feline friends may be most at risk.
They're thinking scientifically that cats and ferrets may be a little higher risk than dogs, just the way that the virus attaches or works in their body.
So far, there's no evidence we can get it from them, but we certainly can give it to them, similar symptoms affecting humans.
Have some respiratory illness, fever, lethargy, maybe a mild cough, but the cases that are known so far, have a good prognosis and it seems to be pretty mild.
So protect them the same way you protect yourself, with social distancing. Avoid dog parks and interacting with other pets and people on walks. Keep cats inside if possible. And that 6-foot distance is the same for them. And if you're sick, isolate yourself away from them to keep them safe. While it's possible for pets to get tested, it's also very expensive. They have to have a proven connection to an infected human. Every other respiratory ailment has to be ruled out, and then the state health department can give the go-ahead for a COVID test. But expect to pay a hefty price tag of at least $300. Or keep yourself and your pets safe by practicing the guidelines we already know work. Monica Robbins, 3 News.
All right, Monica, thank you very much. It is almost go time. The NFL draft starts in less than 2 hours, and as everyone knows, the Browns will be on the clock tonight. They have the 10th overall pick. Voice of the Browns, Jim Donovan, is live from his house tonight to talk about what we can expect. Jimmy, we're almost there.
Yeah, we are, Jay. You're absolutely right. We've talked about a lot of scenarios as the Browns are on the clock at number 10, at least for now. They could move. A lot of people think they could move down. Some people even think, you know what, long shot, maybe they move up. We think they need a left tackle. They know they need a left tackle. But let's throw another scenario at you. What if all of a sudden the board starts to play out and it comes to number 10 and there's an amazing player still on the board and the Browns are sitting there at number 10 and that player isn't a left tackle? What do you do? For instance, what if this guy was still on the board at number 10? The best linebacker in the draft is Isaiah Simmons. He is a heat-seeking missile out on the field. Out of Clemson, he was the top player in the ACC defensively. He plays all over the field. He's the new kind of linebacker that is so successful and that teams are looking for in the NFL. In other words, he can play 3 different positions. He can play linebacker, he can play safety, he can play slot corner. He's a playmaker, and that's something the Browns at some point have to find defensively at linebacker and at safety. They could do that possibly with 1 pick if they get this guy. That would be amazing if he's on the board. They would have to think long and hard about taking him or letting him slip by if he's still available at number 10. That's just another scenario that you look at. Now, it's a fascinating draft. It's a virtual draft. And, of course, it's run by the NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell, who typically would walk out onto the stage, hear a chorus of boos. This year it would have been in Vegas. Next year it comes to Cleveland. But that's all going to be different tonight. So here's how the commissioner is going to be calling the shots. Here's a look at his basement. That's where he will announce the picks tonight in Westchester County, New York. There will be 3 people in the room with him. Goodell says, expect the unexpected. And I think we expect to have a great night just to have the NFL back, if it's only the NFL draft. The Browns are on the clock at 10, Jay. Fascinating, all the different scenarios they have in front of them.
I can't wait to see how it all plays out. Jimmy, thanks. We'll see you later in sports.
Okay.
Dream come true. We'll introduce you to the cancer survivor who's getting ready to introduce the Browns draft pick tonight.
What Matters Most is sponsored by the Calvetta Brothers Floor Show. It's time to fall in love again with your home.
Welcome back to What Matters Most. A 12-year-old Cleveland cancer survivor is getting the opportunity of a lifetime tonight. He'll appear on this evening's NFL Draft, helping introduce the Browns' first pick while sharing his story of survival. Brandon Simmons shares that story with us now.
The last 9 months, they've been tough.
Tough is an understatement. Just 12 years old, Fletcher Rollinson has already endured more than many of us could imagine. Diagnosed with a rare cancerous brain tumor back in July.
An MRI showed the existence of a tumor, and that moment, is hard to describe because it's not something you ever imagine.
The road he and his family would travel was gonna be tough, but little did they know they'd have the support of a world-class team of doctors at St. Jude Hospital in Memphis, and a new teammate, Browns receiver Jarvis Landry.
He invited me to the Browns training facility. It was preseason, and we went and he gave us a tour.
Landry has been with Fletcher every step of the way, even sending messages of support during his treatments.
He sent videos while I was there for chemo. He sent videos from the Pro Bowl, which was really cool. When I got back from radiation, they invited us to a game, and he gave me a pair of his gloves.
Fletcher, his sister Isla, and their parents say the support from the community and the Browns has been paramount in helping them power through the last 9 months.
It's been unbelievable, and it's hard to even know how to say thank you for everything that people have done for us.
And now, after a big win over cancer that included surgery, radiation, and chemotherapy, Fletcher will get a chance to share a message of hope tonight during the draft, thanks to St. Jude's partnership with the NFL.
We're so thankful to have the opportunity to show Fletcher's support for the Browns because they've supported him so much.
Thank you so much, and go Browns.
Now, I told Fletcher not to ruin the message that he had for us tonight. If you want to see it, you have to wait until right before the Browns make their first pick at number 10. I'm Brandon Simmons, 3 News.
What a fantastic story. Love that. And oh my gosh, I know everybody is so excited to have something sports related happening. I wore flame orange today. As a matter of fact, they're shading the cameras. If my color of my dress has just changed, they're changing the shading on the cameras because it is so bright. It's overpowering. Anywho, the weather not so overpowering for us, unfortunately. Scattered showers will remain with us as we head into the overnight hours. Temperatures slowly fading back into the 40s as we get into the start of the day tomorrow. We do have a stationary front draped across northeast Ohio. Basically, that means there's cold air north, there's warm air south, and it's not really moving all that much. So we don't have warm air impinging on cold or cold air impinging on warm. But that stationary front, which is located right about here where this line of rain is, that will begin to move south as we go through the night tonight because a storm system that's sitting in the upper part of the atmosphere over the Tennessee Valley will be sliding toward the east coast. And as it does so, it's going to pull all of that southward. So those temperatures are going to be cooling off. And the rain showers are going to be staying with us as long as that is taking place. By tomorrow morning, they'll hopefully enough of the polling has happened that a lot of the rain is going to be moving out, and we're actually going to see some peaks of sunshine as we get into the day tomorrow. Notice that the scattered showers are moving generally from west to east, but later tonight again, you're going to find that the overall pattern is one that is dropping southward. Temperatures have cooled into the low 50s along the lakeshore. We're holding on mid and upper 50s farther to the south. Tomorrow will be another wind-driven day as far as the temperatures go. That north wind keeps the lakeshore areas much cooler than farther south. south. I think tomorrow afternoon we'll probably see temperatures in the 40s along the lakeshore, 60s down for our southern friends toward Dover and New Philadelphia. National Design Mart hour-by-hour forecast. We hold the scattered showers through the midnight hour, but start to dry out for the start of the day tomorrow. We'll get to see some peaks of sun. Yeah, we're still going to have some clouds hanging around, but a northwest breeze will keep things rather fresh, especially along the lakeshore areas. But there you see the 20-degree temperature difference. Downtown Cleveland 43, 64 in Dover at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. We'll start to see those clouds on the increase again once we get into Saturday, but for the most part, our Friday is looking like it's going to be a pretty nice day for us. So your Universal Windows Direct forecast wraps up like this. Low 50s on average, 40s lakeshore, 60s farther south. All of us near 60 as rain moves in on Saturday. Rain is likely on a cool and kind of dreary Sunday, but then we get to see some sunshine on Monday as temperatures start warming up. Jimmy has more on the draft coming up next.
This sports report is sponsored by the people-pleasing people at Serra Auto Park in Akron.
Hi, everybody. Hi once again. Here are your headlines for this Thursday night. The NFL Draft kicks off 8 o'clock. Do the Browns make the big deal? And it's not within the draft. It's outside the draft to get the All-Pro left tackle Trent Williams from the Washington Redskins. He's available. Compensation, we don't know what the Redskins want specifically. It's the Browns, the Jets, the Vikings, the Buccaneers, with the Browns having the most to offer. Now, the Browns also need a safety. I mean, they are paper thin at safety right now. Let's scout a couple of the top safeties in this year's draft. Out of Alabama, this is Xavier McKinney, terrific player, one of these hard-hitting safeties that coasts around the field. I mean, he's definitely a big-time playmaker. If you can play safety at Alabama, you are NFL ready. Or how about LSU's Grant Delpit, who walked into the season probably as the best safety, touted that way to come out of the class this year. But he had an injury in the middle of the season. He had a better close to the season. He played with the Browns' Greedy Williams at LSU. He is somebody that would definitely be on the Browns board. And finally, it's a big, big night tonight for Joe Burrow, the quarterback out of LSU and Ohio State before that. He'll go #1 overall in the NFL draft to the Cincinnati Bengals. Coming up in just a couple of moments on NBC Nightly News, he will be featured. What a young man, won the Heisman Trophy. He is committed to ending hunger in Ohio and specifically near his hometown area, Athens, Ohio. Tough to root against him, Betsy and Jay, even though he's going to be a Bengal.
Well, we can't have that now, can we? All right, Jimmy, thank you. We are so looking forward to your coverage coming up on Front Row at 7 with Sarah Shookman. Until then, NBC Nightly News is coming up next. Thanks for joining us this evening. Stay safe, everybody. We'll see you soon.